Matt Rhule, the Baylor head coach, has decided to decline the interview opportunity with the Cleveland Browns. So the Cleveland Browns, whose list we know also includes Josh McDaniels, according to our very own Adam Schefter, has said Baylor head coach Matt Rhule declined the chance to interview for the Cleveland Browns head coaching job per league source. Rhule is expected to be a leading candidate for the Giants and Panthers head coaching job. So, and we just heard Ed Werder telling us that Rhule is also going to be a candidate for the Cowboys job. So one thing you and I said earlier is we'll get a statement on how coaches feel about the talent and the organization by what they choose to be a part of, because there are several quarterbacks here that can be associated with. So the fact that right now he's expected to be a leading candidate for the Giants, Panthers, and Cowboys and has turned down the Browns has to be some statement either about the talent or about the organization. I find it hard to believe it would be about the talent, so probably more a statement about the organization.
Yeah, the fact that they've had, I may be exaggerating a little bit, like 20 head coaches in the last 8 years.
742. Don't go.
I mean, it's like you can throw out any number and someone's like, it sounds about right. So I guess if he's prioritizing this, yeah, I'm leading candidate for a lot of these other jobs. I'm going to put them at the bottom. I'm still a head coach at Baylor. Like, they have not played their bowl game yet, correct?
Correct.
So he's still getting ready for that. He's trying to keep a recruiting class together. And so I'm not going to concern myself with things outside of that I'm not really all that interested in. And so I think that just shows that, like, Cleveland is out last on his list of whatever criteria that he values. And I'm not going to do this because I've got recruits, I've got all these other things, and there's 2 or 3 other options that he may already have assurances from people like, listen, as long as you don't show up drunk, they're going to offer you the job. If you have a suit and tie on and you're sober, buddy, and you show up on time, maybe even 5 minutes late in New York, there's traffic, there's issues, people get it, it's yours. So just try to do that. And so if you have that insurance, why am I going to go somewhere else? Like, I have to pander to these people. I already got jobs out there, jobs that I want more. I'm not going to waste my time on this.
Well, and when you think about it, he's been selective. He had the opportunity. There was at least interest from the Jets, and he didn't want to be a part of that. So what you can look at with Matt Rhule is, at the very least, he is going to make sure that whatever situation he gets into is the right situation. And it's funny because we've been talking about, for extended amount of time, what happens for coaches on their second and third stop. I have no problem with Matt Rhule coming in and saying, you know what, my first foray into the NFL, I want it to be perfect. I mean, he's in a situation in Baylor where there will not be the expectation of winning a national championship. He can go out, he can continue to do his thing. Baylor now has a lot of shine. He's going to get a lot of credit for the way they've turned down the reputation of the school, not just the football program. And he, as I said before, when we hung out with him at game day, one thing that he was very clear with at game day was that he accepted the job at Baylor because he felt that that's where God was calling him to be, and that was his purpose. And he was there for a greater cause. That is a reminder that when you are talking about just the way people make different decisions, for some people it's about where you live. For some people it's about what you want for your family. For some people it's about the situation of the football team. For Matt Rhule,
some people it's just about straight dollar bills,
and
too.
Some people, 100%. Some people it's just about the cash. For Matt Rhule, it's a little more difficult to pinpoint exactly what's going to be the trigger for him.
I think what that says, talking about how he's a faith-based man and that governs a lot of decisions in his life, is that he's going to want to go to an organization that has alignment with that, and he's going to want to work for people that value that, or at least value or respect his decisions on how he operates, and that there's not going to be all this push and these negative influences all around. Like, he wants to go someplace that's stable, that there's other human beings like him. And so you look at the Maras up there in New York, and that would be logical. Like, he's worked there, so he understands the type of ownership group that they have. And I don't know about the relationship with Dave Gettleman and how that could potentially work, but he would understand, if I go there, I'm not getting fired in a year. You're going to respect me. John Mara isn't a guy that's holding a press conference all the time. He hasn't just fired coaches willy-nilly. Like, I don't think they really wanted to move on from Pat Shurmur, but they felt like they had to do it at this point in time. And so those are all assurances that he's going to have, and he's going to take them at their word. The only thing, and I think he could be a really good fit there. The only thing that I just have is a guy going from Baylor, which he's done a fantastic job of. He took over a 1-11 team and spun that Rumpelstiltskin, that thing into gold very, very quickly. But there's a bigger, they're going from a place, like you said, that has limited expectations in a very small media market to a place like New York City, where you are being dropped, Fitz, like right into the middle of just the media circus that is New York. You watch what happened with Adam Gase and all the stuff that's going on over there with him. Like, it's not an easy situation to handle outside of just all the football stuff.
Well, and I would also look at Carolina as we're not talking about Carolina because they don't have an identity. We don't know what to predict. I mean, David Tepper's making his first hire as an owner through all of this. So I look at the Panthers also as an opportunity to come in and say, okay, what culture is going to be built here, and what is the identity going to be for that franchise? So
one other thing about this too, David Tepper, Pittsburgh guy, Pennsylvania guy, Matt Rhule went to Penn State. Like those guys, like there is some geographic familiarity, and people like known quantities. And if you're from like the same region of the country, like Parcells always loved to hire New York, New Jersey guys for that reason. And I could see David Tepper leaning and liking Matt Rhule for that same reason.
Well, and Ron Rivera was given the sort of the opportunity to be himself and prioritize what was important to him on a personal level also. So these are factors that come into hiring and the hiring process that I don't think a lot of people think about. It's more than just where can I win? There are different factors for everybody. Some people it's about just that. For some people it's about other things. So Matt Rhule has declined the interview opportunity with the Browns.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.